make education, healthcare, and government services like issuance of IDs, birth certificates, passports, free of charge, since they are funded by the taxpayers' money. Stop politicizing and endangering the future of our children through NGCDF manipulation by ending the discussion on bursary issuance through MPs and channel all funds directly to the Ministry of Education. And lastly, make politics a service, not a profitable venture, by reviewing the salaries of all politicians to make it commensurate to the country's GDP, so cost of living can also become their burden. Fellow Kenyans, this is a call for the formation on transitional government now. I come to you today with deep conviction that this country is beyond dialogue and talk of sitting together in private meetings, the so-called conclaves, to find solutions on issues that are well known and urgent for the nation of Kenya is mute, null and void. So the idea should not be to talk, but to implement. The reason why I say the country is beyond dialogue is now clearly evident and supported by the recent revelation of deception and hoodwinking of citizens by the government on the stepping aside of Deputy Inspector General of Police, Eliud Lagat, that the standard newspaper clearly defined the big con, and the People's Daily branded failed presidency. If the government has habitualized the notion of lying to its citizens, even under oath, with no punitive or sign of remorse, why would we trust that serious issues like a national dialogue would change or impact our beloved country going forward under a failed presidency and conmanship? It is with this realization I now recommend, not merely suggest, but recommend that what this country needs is immediate establishment of transitional government that will be able to bring the country together in unity and address these 9 key issues we have identified to be of national interest and define the purpose of the transitional government. The objective on the establishment of the transitional government is not to provide a competitive advantage or to disenfranchise any specific generation, community, region, or political party allegiances, but to steer the Republic of Kenya in the direction that benefits everyone moving forward with issues that benefit the people of Kenya. This is why my proposal today clearly stipulates that the transition government must not be headed by anyone currently with political aspirations in 2027, but a team of patriotic citizens whose desire is to restore constitutionalism, governance, structures, and functional independent commissions that have the true power to enforce, execute, and implement as guided by the Constitution of Kenya and not by foreign masters. Besides, freedom and independence of the judiciary and legislative assembly, we aim to make governance work for the people and citizens of Kenya without political overlords or foreign entities meddling in the affairs of the state to benefit and gain their upper hand in exploiting opportunities which would otherwise be beneficial to the citizens of Kenya in the opportunities, job creation, professional development, and ultimate sovereignty of our nation as a republic. Through this proposal, we extend and stretch a reconciliatory leave of patience to President William Ruto that in exchange for the remaining term between now and 2027, he will be accorded the leisure and leniency as a citizen of Kenya under the Constitution to get his time in court of law and where due process will be followed, and provide him and his team an entitled right to either clear his or his cabinet's name or he ignore this brief window of humanity consideration and await for a future date where these terms will not be amenable to him and his cabinet in retirement, no matter how long it takes. In summary, the role and aim of transitional government will be: 1. Dissolve parliament and restore its integrity and honor through new elections. 2. Pursuant to the 2022 Bomas draft constitution, establish the House of Senate as the upper house, which will be discussing and vetting bills discussed by members of parliament before going to the president for assent to ensure they represent the desires of the people and uphold national interest of all in the country. 3. Establish and clearly define Kenya's national interests as exemplified with examples of China and the United States of America, who clearly have defined and made sure those interests are non-negotiable, never coming second to any other interests as they protect the sovereignty of their nations. 4. Make education, healthcare, and government services like issuance of IDs, birth certificates, passports, free of charge, since they are funded by the taxpayers' money. So it's illogical to charge those who have provided funds for a service they have already funded. 5. Stop politicizing and endangering the future of our children through NGCDF manipulation by ending the discussion on bursary issuance through MPs and channel all funds directly to the Ministry of Education. The only work of members of parliament, therefore, is to work hand in hand with MCAs to identify needy cases and compile the list to be submitted to the Ministry of Education for capitation. 6. Review and propose to pass a bill that will separate the Ministry of Finance, the political office, and the Treasury, which is the country's fiscal body, to make sure that politics does not meddle in the management and functionality of Kenya's consolidated fund. 7. In an effort to tame and curb the country's inflated expenditure spending, the transition government will initiate the need for a referendum to review the number of counties as proposed in the original 2010 Bomas Constitution. 8. Review and restructuring of the country's taxation system. Any country that loves its people does not impose punitive taxes because it should have the foresight to see and understand what damage that can do to its industrialization vision, which in turn affects employment opportunities when cost of production is affected by electricity, fuel, and unnecessary levies. To restore the country back to economic prowess, we need to look at how we can expand the tax bracket, not exploit those already burdened. We also need to harness alternative revenue streams like nationalizing our country's natural and mineral resources and protect them under Country National Sovereign Wealth Fund program. If managed well and correctly, this revenue stream could complement the current tax bracket and offer relief to the civil service, businesses, and industries, giving them the much needed resources to grow and build the country by creating an enabling environment for the business community. 9, and lastly, make politics a service, not a profitable venture, by reviewing the salaries of all politicians to make it commensurate to the country's GDP, so cost of living can also become their burden, and they can find a solution to make life in Kenya affordable for all, but not just for politicians. With these 9 points, I invite stakeholders in different society affiliations, from the church to the civil society, to the business community, and to the politicians to sit down and take a hard look at this proposal, as I urge them to also consider proposing members of the team that would consist of the leaders who are to be appointed as part of the transition team to steer the country forward and stop the current impasse of a government against its own people or a people without a government. And to my fellow peers and political leaders in the opposition, I urge you to look deep into your hearts as you review this proposal with the seriousness it deserves, in the realization that the common mwananchi needs an answer to issues affecting them now, not in 2020, not in 2027, which is 25 months away from now. Because the sick in hospitals with bills, the hungry in the slums, the unemployed breadwinner in a family, or the business person facing eviction, the children shot in cells, in hospitals, among others. Even auctioneers cannot wait for 2027 political decision in the ballot, because the problems they face today is economic and rule of law. As a republic, we have already lost a lot in both people and positive international image, and I hope this brings us back as a people united without worrying or what the future might hold. This is my prayer and a humble submission of this proposal to the citizens of this great republic to establish a transitional government and save the country both the time and the money which we don't have in wasted calls for conclaves or dialogues that serve to benefit a few. Professor Fred Ogola, leader J25 movement, leader Hekima Alliance Party. God bless you. God bless Kenya. Thank you.